from one crazy son of a celebrity
This one's wild.
to the next.
Play some Mariah
Oh
Carey.
yeah.
As much as I love to harp on horrible fashion at the Grammys, I got another.
This one's wild.
I got another funny story about a son of a celebrity, which is crazy because this guy has so much going for himself, even though he's a nobody other than a son of someone famous.
Right.
Hey, but honestly, for being messed up, he's holding it together pretty good.
He's slurring his speech.
He is, but I mean, he's like,
His glasses aren't even on his fucking ears.
yeah. I mean,
He's
but
wearing them
they
like Arthur?
also.
He is not holding it
But
together.
listen,
He's
but
wearing them like
listen,
Arthur.
listen, because he's handcuffed right now, and they put his glasses on him.
Glasses aren't even
It's
on
not-
his ears.
But it's not like he can
never
even adjust
noticed
his
that.
own glasses. Okay.
Okay, maybe
I
that's
just want to say
That's
that
fair.
the girl that he was with had a
Yeah.
really hard time closing the door of that car because of how it was angled.
Yeah, but I mean, he's telling.
Did you
the-
see how much he
he's-
struggled? I know you know what I'm talking about.
He's having like a pretty good, like, it's a good excuse. Like, I made a wrong turn, sure, but you're pretty far on the train tracks.
No, they were
at this
like, you're
point.
not the
Yeah.
right turn away. You're
Yeah.
like hundreds of.
Yeah.
play some Mariah Carey up in this bitch.
Right?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen the
That's
video
it.
yet.
Our next
You haven't seen the
story.
video?
No, I've seen it. Yet.
Oh.
Our next story, Michael Jordan's son, Marcus Jordan. He's head of some. He has a high up position in the
Yeah.
Jordan brand.
He owns a boutique shoe store in downtown Orlando and is a former athlete at the University of Central Florida. So,
just by name.
Mhm.
He was horrible.
Yeah. he was
right. And he was arrested and booked in Orange County, Florida.
For DWB.
Yep, driving under the influence with property damage because he probably fucked up them train tracks. Possession of cocaine, resisting an officer, and he fucked up that Lamborghini real good.
And we're about to see the video.
Oh, it's a Lambo?
Yeah, a blue
I
Lamborghini.
thought it was a Porsche.
No,
Was it his Lambo that you fucked up?
well,
would
I mean,
assume
his
so.
dad's fucking.
Thought we were making a right, and I turned onto the train tracks. Apparently,
I do that all the time.
I'm trying. But yeah, we're not getting back in the car right now. Okay.
His glasses.
The reason why, yeah. So
Do me a favor, keep your
Yeah,
hands out of your
look,
pocket.
he's
Yeah.
wearing them.
Keep your hands in your pocket.
there's nothing in my pocket.
That's all. Don't pass you down and break it down. Put your hands up and you
Come on, man. You know, bro. I'm Marcus Jordan. I'm Michael Jordan's son. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just trying to get home, and I made a wrong turn.
At
Okay.
least he didn't say, "Do you know
And
who I
clearly,
am?" Like,
we would just like to get our car off of the f***ing train tracks,
It's
which
true.
we were
I
not
can
trying to be
confirm.
on.
How far do you got to go down
Yeah.
some train tracks to realize you took a wrong turn?
Well,
I mean,
according to him,
I'm just
Justin
saying, if
off him.
there's 6 of us, and we throw this thing in reverse. Well, I've already got concerns for your level of impairment, anyways. Okay, so that's why. Because I can smell alcohol coming from you, and you're on train tracks. Okay, so come on, man. Just listen to me. That's why I don't want you back behind the wheel, anyways. Okay. I'm fine behind the wheel. I just would like to get my car out of this. We'll deal with that after this. Okay. We'll deal with that after this. But that's why I had to get you out of the car. Okay. Because I hear spinning tires. I hear slurred speech from you. You're driving on train tracks. I'm not slurring anything, and I'm okay. I'm letting you know. I have concerns. Okay? Well, for your level of
I appreciate
impairment
that.
Driving a vehicle, I can't let you back behind the car and drive a vehicle.
I appreciate your concern.
Yeah, I don't want.
But
you to get
I
hurt.
am not inebriated. I'm
Juliet,
not
635,
anything that
550,
cannot drive home.
Hammered.
yeah,
I say he's pretty gone.
yeah.
That cop was like super respectful.
He was pretty cool.
He was
Yeah.
like he was very polite and trying to explain to him what's going on here.
Right. No, because I mean, really, if you're not drunk or if you're not fucked up, you'd be like, "Hey, man, test me." You know what I mean? Like,
Let me ask you guys this because I have this
Oh, it
debate.
was a
I
Lambo.
have this debate with Frank a lot.
who the fuck is Frank?
So does
Who's
this,
Frank?
So does this affect your guys' like? Does this affect Jordan's legacy?
No,
Because he
no,
says that
not at all.
LeBron, like, look at LeBron.
Not at
LeBron's
all.
kids are great, are doing this. That's why LeBron is so much better than
I
Jordan.
think that-
that's Frank's argument.
Fatherhood
Yeah.
skills or
Yeah.
NBA skills?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I
does it
think-
make LeBron better than Jordan?
No.
Because
Not
his
at
kids are
all.
doing
As a
dumb shit?
player, think that that matters. I think that as like a father,
LeBron's
and
clearly
like,
a better father.
and
Nah,
your
I don't even know that.
your
I don't
level
know.
of involvement with your children
truly don't know that.
and right, and your you know how
That video is funny.
what example you're putting forth for your children. And Michael Jordan is infamous for his gambling debts, for his kind of extravagant lifestyle. And then you have, you know, who the fuck is that? Idris Elba?
Marcus Jordan.
Look at
Marcus
that.
Jordan?
There's no reason why Michael Jordan should be responsible for this.
No.
There's no
And
Michael Jordan in
and
this
then,
photo.
And then, I mean, yeah, at a certain point, you know, these are your
Snowing
kids,
over there,
sure.
though. You don't-
know,
you
but
don't smell
this
your
is
keys?
also this is also an adult, you know, like, and it's not like you know, like
I don't.
all-
Not once in that video that we just watched did I think about Michael Jordan's legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he said, "I'm Marcus Jordan, Michael Jordan's son," I didn't even think about
Doesn't
Michael
affect
But
Jordan.
I mean,
legacy,
yeah.
It doesn't affect his legacy
I
at all.
agree.
But I also
At
don't
all.
believe that
you, Frank.
because you do drugs that you're a bad person. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that
Sure,
that's
yeah.
like necessarily based on morality.
Sure.
So
When you grow up and your dad's Michael Jordan, your outlook
yeah,
on life is going
and
to
I
be
mean, you
completely
have
different
money,
than
you
everybody else's.
have
Yeah.
Well, there's something to be said about that. Like when you talk about like trust fund babies or people like
Nepo
Marcus
babies,
Jordan
yeah.
that come from a lavish life, why does there seem to be a theme that they have a lot of problems, not financially, but they have a lot of problems like with the law, right? Or with substance abuse.
well, because they're not. I think that you have a certain point where you're not necessarily told no. You
Yeah, like,
maybe
what's
your
authority
parents
when you're-
maybe your parents aren't
That's part of
involved
it.
as much because your parents are working elsewhere,
That's part
or
of it.
you know, or you're being raised by nannies, or you know, you end up alone a lot, or there's a lot of factors that could go into it. You know, I think that could. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. I think that it proves that money doesn't.
I think those are all contributing factors, but I think the biggest factor is that they didn't have to work as hard
Absolutely.
to get to that position.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And I think that when you have to work your ass off, like a Michael Jordan did, or a Kobe Bryant did, or anybody who's been very successful that came from nothing, that teaches them something
Right.
along the way.
And how some people
It
are
teaches them value.
successful because they have the drive, because they
Yeah.
came from a shitty situation. You can't necessarily teach that to everybody.
But they also know how hard they had to work to get there, and that it could all be lost in a moment's notice by making
Right.
a bad decision.
Whereas then your
Trust
kids,
fund babies don't think
your
that.
kids grow up in a totally opposite, different
Yeah.
environment than you did.
Mm-hmm.
They're in private school. You went to public school in the ghetto, or
Yeah.
you know, you didn't have a
They have the
car.
best of the best.
You
I love this
maybe
clip.
had a mom around, you know, and then
Okay.
you have these kids that just have money
know-
and have. Go ahead.
During the holidays, we go and
Love this.
we feed and serve the homeless. We go and you know
I just played it. To preface the clip, another aspect of celebrity parents and them giving their children life that's very easy. Pharrell Williams has spoken on different interviews about how he purposely makes, he's a very strict parent, and he he creates difficult challenges for them in a way that he feels prepares them for the world,
Right.
because his lifestyle with them isn't like realistic to how the world is tough.
Right.
And they're not, he's preparing them in his own way. So he's very proud to be a very strict parent.
Right.
So I wanted to, I don't know if this is the exact clip, but there is clips of him out there that are where he's very outspoken about how strict he is
Right.
as a parent.
But again, this is
He's almost
somebody
like
who's
recreating.
a
He's
present,
creating
yeah.
challenge.
This is
recreating the
somebody
challenge he
who's
had.
Right.
a present parent,
Yeah.
right?
Very
Versus
insightful.
somebody who maybe has the celebrity that Pharrell has, but isn't as involved with their
Well,
kids.
And he thinks he thinks like what we're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like Pharrell's extremely successful. He's had an amazing career. right? But he also came from nothing, and he probably had to go through a shitload of stuff
Yeah.
to get to where he's at. So he's recreating that struggle the best way he feels he can do,
Right.
Right.
with all the money and all the outlets and all the opportunity they have around them.
Here's parenting is a conscious decision if you are worried about the kind of parent that you are, you're doing it right. You know what I mean? Like,
Because you care.
yeah, like that's, I think, the difference between some people who just like, oh, parenting's so easy. You're probably not,
Very absent.
yeah, you're probably not doing the best that you can if you
Yeah.
think it's easy.
All
So,
right. So
yeah.
aside, please ignore Rick Rubin's feet, but let's continue.
Oh.
the clip.
To different children's hospitals where there are a lot of kids that are challenged with like conditions that a lot of times are uncurable or haven't been cured yet. And that's because I want my children to understand having to have real coping skills and to see what real courage looks like. The child that wakes up and gets bad news that day and realizes that it's gonna be a tough ride, and but they wake up every day and they face that day for what it is. I wanted my kids to have that. And so I'm on it. I'm strict about it. I don't play. I'm a strict dad. But because the world is harsh.
Yeah.
You know, I think when parents say things like, oh, I never want my kids to struggle the way that I did. Well, you have to understand the way your struggle produced you being a hardworking, critical thinking individual. And when you don't allow your kids to have guided struggle, they don't develop the coping skills, they don't have the courage, they can't deal with challenges. And it oftentimes doesn't end so well.
Damn.
I
There it
think
is.
that
That's deep,
Yeah,
right?
I love
something
that
that he
That's
doesn't
deep.
mention there is that instilling like the empathy of somebody else's life, you know, like you have your perspective and you have your life, but kind of viewing it from other people's point of view and being able to understand that other person's struggle. I think that that's a huge part that people now are missing,
Mhm.
you know?
Passion,
Yeah,
understanding.
yeah, giving other people grace, you know, and I think that that's, as somebody that doesn't necessarily like believe in God, you know, I think that being a good person is just like an intrinsic part. It should be just part of everybody, you know, just to look out for each other.
Yeah.
So,
One thing that I plan on doing, I'm gonna wait a couple more years for my kids to be a little bit older. But one thing that my mom did with me, because her working at the Disney store, they worked with the children's hospital. And before, I was like in elementary school, but she would take me with her to go and volunteer and help out or whatever.
Fire.
And
That's awesome.
the idea of understanding that like these kids have it way
Yeah.
worse than you, you know, and what they have, what you have, you take for granted compared to
yeah.
what these kids have, you know. And I want, because, you know, my kids, you know, we get them damn near, and their grandparents get them whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't even have
And
to buy them anything because everybody else
They
does.
forget about so
Like,
many toys, and they just pile up in this corner. And I want to kind of show them that there are so many kids out there that don't get toys, that
Yeah,
that are dealing with like things that I mean, knock on wood, that they'll never have to
Yeah.
endure. And I want to wait a little bit so that it impacts them when they're kind of more able to process what's going on. But I know it hit me.
Yeah.
You
Do
know,
you remember that?
I remember that. Yeah, that stuck with me. Just like she took me to watch my aunt give birth, and that made me really not want to deal with that for
That's wild.
I was in the delivery room
Shout out
at
your
like
mom, dude.
13 or
Shout out
14.
Sandra.
He
I-
had like a
Damn.
straight
Yeah.
shot angle view of
No,
like,
they-
13, 14 years old,
I
you're
was
seeing this?
I was in the delivery room. I sat in
Yeah.
the corner, and they were just like come here, help hold her head and grab and hold up her leg. So I walked over and I helped kind of give her head like a little bit of like shove forward, and I help her cock back her leg, and I was right
Wait,
there.
did you look down Main Street?
I was there. I was right there.
Whoa.
As much as I tried not to look,
Yeah.
I was right there.
Yeah.
Were you in high school at this
You-
time?
I was maybe in middle school, 13 or 14.
Yeah.
The
Eighth grade,
smells,
ninth
you
grade,
got
you
it
gotta get
all.
'em.
You got it all.
And that stuck with me.
Yeah.
I never had
That's wild.
I never had birds and the bees talk,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like that was like her way
You had the presentation.
of birds and the bees
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me as
Yeah.
far as like I really want to wait before I'm back in this room.
Hey,
Until
Yeah.
I'm ready.
but honestly, as
real.
as the person who gave birth
it's intense.
great
To some gigantic ass babies?
to some big babies. I mean,
Some big boys.
I'm not small, you know, like
No,
they
you're
were
both tall.
Yeah.
they were good size for me.
Yeah,
But-
15 pounds.
No, Elias
How big
was
was Elias?
just
I'm joking.
Elias was 8 pounds 15 ounces.
I don't
13.
remember.
He was just almost 9 pounds.
Yeah.
And then
That's
Juju
pretty good
was
size.
8 pounds 20 ounces.
I don't, yeah,
But
I don't-
Juju was
Dylan was
2
insane.
weeks early. Elias was right on time. But as the birthing person, he was a great partner.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah,
He's already seen it.
I saw it.
Yeah,
14 years
he
old.
was.
I already got the shaky legs and the
Yeah.
fucking at 13.
He was good at holding my leg. He was good at just like being at the right place.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
Wait, so
when you saw the head, did you freak out? Because when I saw the
no.
head,
when I was a kid or
no,
when,
no,
when I saw mine.
When it was your baby, like it's your
No.
baby.
I didn't freak. No.
Oh, I
no,
freaked out.
I even tried to ask.
He's
ran
like,
out the
Doc,
room.
she's crowning. She's crowning.
Right.
ran
I
out the
even
room.
tried to ask. Oh, here's a crazy story about giving birth to Juju. So I start going through labor, whatever. I finally get the epidural, and it's like about time. And so finally I get the epidural. I lay down. I start to relax. The nurse like goes to do something. He's over on the couch, just kind of like, all right, this is like the rest before everything
Calm
happens.
before the storm.
Yeah. And the nurse walks back in, and I'm like, I think my water just broke. And I lift the blanket and I lift my leg, and she's like, Dad, look at this.
And what did I see? There was a giant fucking balloon that was coming out of her.
Oh, you told me about
It was a
that.
Yeah.
balloon. Like
it was
Yeah.
My sac,
There
the
we go.
amniotic sac hadn't broken yet.
and it was
But it
out
was
of her body.
Yeah, because I was so dilated
She-
at that point.
she
Like
didn't-
I was able to
it was
relax
out.
enough that I was ready.
But-
Juju,
Yeah.
and then so Juju, she's like, "Oh, you're ready. Let's get
But hold
everybody."
on. The nurse was like, "Look, I've never seen this before."
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm just freaking. That freaked me out.
that would have freaked
Yeah.
me out. too.
Something you've never seen before.
Right.
That
How do
freaks
I
me
know
out.
you
But
know
I
what
mean,
to
some-
do now?
Right.
some
Never
babies-
done
Yeah.
this
This
before.
is,
Yeah.
How do you know
Some
where we're going
babies
from
are
here?
born completely still in that sac. It's not
crazy.
very often,
But
but,
when she popped it, or it
no,
popped,
it popped automatic. It popped on its own
wa-
because it
water.
finally.
It was a water balloon. Water
Yeah.
went
She popped it with a needle?
everywhere.
No, it because it finally like reached its like
just
maximum. Yeah,
extends so
it
much
was
that it
like
popped?
a balloon that was too
And
full.
water
Just
went everywhere,
everywhere.
like a popped
And she's
water
all-
balloon.
And the baby was in there?
Well, he
I'm
was still
joking.
inside of me,
I'm joking.
and she's all, "Oh, I guess I could have put a pad down to catch all that." All that just like went
Never
everywhere.
seen that before.
Yeah, but I mean, it was
That's crazy.
it was cool. And then Juju, literally one push later, was just like he came out and then he peed all over me. Yeah.
How the fuck did we get
So-
there?
I don't know, but I have one follow-up question for you, Miklo. So you said your mom would take you to
Oh,
Children's
okay.
Hospital?
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Children's Hospital,
That's
right?
how we did that.
Okay, and you said you remember this.
Yeah.
So what fast forward now, right? You're much older,
Yeah.
more wise, more wisdom. Looking back on it, what did that do for you? Like when you went there and you experienced that,
Mm-hmm.
do you remember what you thought and how that maybe changed your thinking?
I remember feeling very sad, realizing that people have to go through that.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking as a kid, like, wow, like I get any wrestler I want.
You thought that.
Yeah, I thought that at that
Wow.
time as
Yeah,
a
yeah.
kid, you know? And I was just like, wow, like I get my PlayStation or my Nintendo 64 or my
Shoes.
whatever. I get to go to
Yeah.
Disneyland all the time. My mom worked for Disney. And I was just like, these kids are in the hospital for
However
who
long.
knows how long. I
Yeah.
don't know. And that's their
Forever.
life. And I was just kind of like, holy shit, like, hold on, people, this is people's life. Like, this is not okay. You know, like, and I and as far as the empathy goes, I remember, well, I mean, to this day, I still, you know, certain things hit harder than others. Especially when it comes to kids, but to this day, like I still feel for people that just don't have what they want, or they just maybe whether it's health or wealth or whatever, and they're just kind of living a life that's very bleak. And to this day, I mean, I can still feel for that. You know, that probably fuels why I
Yeah.
maybe work hard for stuff, because I
Right.
don't want to be put in a situation where I'm ever in a bleak life.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
you
Shout out to your
definitely
mom.
have like overcome really traumatic events, you know,
Sure.
like that could be perceived as traumatic, but
Yeah.
it's how you take it and like how you
It was presented to me in a way that it was masked. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And
But-
you know,
And I think that that's the difference is like the outlook
no, yeah,
of, okay,
I don't feel
I'm
like a victim
taking-
at all,
Right.
you know?
Exactly. Like I'm taking this because, you know, I'm going to succeed regardless of what
I view it as
happened or-
there's so many people that have it worse.
Mhm.
I have it so great.
Somebody
Right.
always
I
has
have
it
it great.
worse.
I have
Right.
it great.
Well, and I
Has
mean,
it
your
worse.
grandma grew
Walking
up
away from
in the orphanages.
Yes.
In TJ.
Yes.
So, like, I mean, even somebody close to you really came from nothing.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
and like your grandma had kind of like a found family
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the fact. Well, this was your great grandma grew up in the orphanages.
No, she
Your
did.
grandma.
She did. Yeah, she did.
Okay. So, but then your grandma had the found family of the people that she found in the orphanages.
Right.
And like, so they had each other.
Right,
and
right.
so you grew from that of like, we're going to
Yeah.
get work done. We're going to
Yeah.
succeed. We're
Yeah.
going to, you know, and it looked different, you know?
Yeah, I walked away from the children's hospital feeling that I know people have it way worse than me.
Mhm.
So as bad as I
Mhm.
feel that whatever I might have, I know people have it way worse
Yeah.
than me.
Right.
That's
Right.
And
That's
and
a-
I saw that.
That's a testament to your mom, man.
Oh
because
yeah.
Your mom and your grandma, both of them.
'Cause, like,
yeah.
You talked about this on the last podcast.
Uh-huh.
You grew up your entire life without a father, but
Mhm.
you never felt like you were missing something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That says a lot that you had a woman raising two boys
Mm-hmm.
in this crazy world
Yeah.
that instilled a feeling that I'm not missing a male role model because
Yeah.
she she had to do so much more. It's like she overcompensated, right? Like she had to do
Right.
her job
Right.
and his job.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
And she would still do other jobs.
and
you
other
know,
jobs,
like,
and then take
yeah.
you to children's hospital, so you
Mhm.
understand you should be grateful
Right.
for what you have.
Or
like-
even stuff like we would go to the swap meet every so often, and I saw that as like that was a fun like I don't know. We woke up at 4 a.m. We got to sleep in the car, and we came to the
I did
Spring
it
Valley
too,
swap meet,
with
and
my grandma.
I used to love that.
It was
Yeah.
fun, yeah.
She did that because she needed to pay bills. She was
Mhm.
selling toys, like
Yeah.
some of my toys, some of her Disney collection or whatever. I had a blast doing that.
She made
Yeah.
it fun for you.
But she was doing real life, like we need to pay bills shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And to
I used
me, I look back on that and I'm just kind of like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like that's tough.
Yeah.
I used to get excited to go. My grandmother did the same thing, but I was excited to be there because I knew that I was gonna. Because usually the same people kind of go to the swap meet and
Yeah.
sell stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I was excited because I was gonna hang out with other people that I knew I'd made friends with.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, we're going to the swap meet. Cool. I get to hang out with these people,
Mhm.
and then also food.
Yeah,
Like,
you
I'd,
get
I'd
treats.
always get snacks.
get
yeah, I
treats.
get snacks, and I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that I was there because somebody's trying to make it in the world.
Challenges,
Yeah,
yeah.
somebody's trying
Yeah.
to make it in the world.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
good parenting, though. You hide it from the kids. Kids
Yeah.
shouldn't see that. They don't need to know that.
Yeah. They just, you know, try to make it a good time somehow.
That's why we had good examples.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good examples
For
of how
sure.
to be parents.
And I want to make sure the children's hospital thing, when I feel like my kids have the wherewithal to take that in with like real meaning.
Mhm.
I want to try to do that on a regular basis. At least Thanksgiving, do some turkey thing or whatever
Yeah.
it is. Like it's just a couple hours. You show up, you can hang out with the kids, you give them some food,
Yeah.
you kind of play with them, and that's it. You know what I mean? And I mean, you kind of, after a while, you get that it's kind of like these kids they're here and they're here for a really bad reason.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to go home to your toys, to your game,
Mm-hmm.
to whatever, and you
To
just
choosing whatever you want to eat.
and these
To
kids
yeah.
don't get to go home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want to make sure my kids understand that, you know. So
Mhm.
Pharrell, you know, shout out to him and his parenting style, but
Yeah.
I definitely don't have it like that. But I mean, in my own way, I want to make sure that my kids get, you know, those kind of challenges as well.
For sure.
So, yeah, shout out to him, Marcus Jordan. Do better.
Really though. What a wild.
Marcus Jordan, do better.
Do better. You know, you have a lot of money. It's, you know, you could do so many good stuff, so many good things with that.
Mm-hmm.